Hi cuties! I hope you guys are doing so well. So today I'm going to be unboxing and testing out this all-in-one acrylic nail set from Saviland. I'm really excited because I feel like it's been a long time since I've just tested out a full kit of nail supplies. Saviland is also the sponsor of today's video, so thank you so much to Saviland. I really do appreciate all of their support. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Let's go. So this is a very large box. It's like as big as my shoulder width, literally. That's kind of crazy. Oh, this is nice. So everything is 100% vegan and cruelty-free, light odor and non-toxicity. So it doesn't say specifically HEMA-free or anything like that, but I'm sure we'll see more about that once we pop it open. But yeah, let's just go ahead and open this bad boy up. Ooh, so many goodies in there. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to put this big box off to the side and pull everything out one by one. So the first thing that we have is an e-file. Oh, look how tiny. It feels a lot like the first e-file that I had. I started with like an e-file like this. It just has a USB connector, you plug it in, and you control it from the little control here. So I will use this today. We've got all the essential cuticle bits and the mandrel with some replacement sanding bands, and also this nice ceramic bit. And then we get a whole bunch of replacement sanding bands as well. Next is this little UV LED lamp for curing your gel. Because even though this is an acrylic kit, there is definitely gel polish involved. And whenever I do acrylic, I always use gel products for like top coat or like gluing on your tips and stuff. You'll see what I'm talking about once we actually do some nails. A little lamp like this is really all you need to start off with. Also needs to be plugged in. Has a little button on the back. Again, we'll test it once we actually do the nails. Okay, I'm excited to see what's in this long, big box. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff in here. So we've got a whole bunch of different nail art brushes, like all the nail art brushes you could need, plus a dotting tool. We've got some little toe separators in this little package. Actually, let's just open it up. Stickers! I see stickers. Oh, womp womp. Little brush broke, but that's okay. Could probably fix it with some nail glue, but I really don't need to. It doesn't matter. We have a little nail clipper, which is actually great because I had a million nail clippers and now I don't know where any of them went. So I've actually been needing one of these. Then a little bit of nail glue. This one is just the air dry one. The little brush. Some rhinestones. Some little pearls. This is removal deck. Oh, I think this is for removing the gel. I thought that these were gonna be like sanitizing wipes or something, but no, I think these are acetone. You can use them to remove the gel product. It also should work to remove a thin layer of acrylic as well after you've filed it down. Oh, these are so cute. Okay, just some cute little bow stickers. And then your basic paper forms. We've got a little set of glitters. I'm kind of trying to figure out what this is. I don't know if it's colored acrylic or if it's just pigment powder. Let me see in the product description. It says, okay, I don't think that it's acrylic powder. I think that this is just nail fine glitter. But it's not glitter. I'm pretty sure that these are just pigment powders, but I will check with like some monomer to make sure that it's not actual acrylic. Okay, then we have some nail tips, which I'm so glad that they included because I feel like you usually just get forms, but it's really great that we get these just like half cover regular nail tips. Oh, we get full cover nail tips as well. So I think technically you could use everything in this box to do either like acrylic nails, acrylic with full cover tips, or just gel and full cover tips. Wow, that's really great. There's so many different options. Okay, anyway, so we have just the tip tips where you would have to build out the nail, and then we have the full cover tips. And we also have the forms. So there's a lot of different options on how you can build the nails. I think today I will probably use the full cover tips because I just love using full cover tips because they just make everything so easy and wonderful. More nail glitter, which I'm always happy to see. But yeah, so definitely gonna have to include some glitter in these nails. This one is just fine glitter. We have the little dish, the little dapping dish to put our acrylic liquid in, which is the monomer. And then we have some more tools in this little package. A 100-180 wooden file, a 100-180 buffer, a cuticle pusher, some tweezers for putting on like nail art decorations like rhinestones or nail stickers. And last but not least, well, there's still more stuff in the box, just last for this little package, you know what I'm saying? This little scraper tool, which some people use to like clean up the dead skin around their nail beds. But I'd be very careful using this because I've shredded my cuticles using this as a beginner, so be careful. We have 3 different sizes of acrylic brushes, number 6, a number 12, and a number 10. And then you don't have to be afraid to like practice with one and if you mess it up, because it can be easy to mess up your acrylic brush, not gonna lie, especially as a beginner. So it's really nice that you have 3. So in case you mess up one, you've got 2 more. We have some boxes. Wait, what? Oh, haha. I knew I was missing a box. I was like, where are the acrylic powders? They're in here. Okay. So let's open this up first. So we have a pink, a white, and a clear. The dynamic trio of acrylic powders. And of course I will swatch all of these, but I don't want to open the monomer or the acrylic liquid just yet because I want to minimize the time that I have to smell the monomer. One other thing that I want to mention that I forgot to at the beginning is that sometimes when you get acrylic kits, they like smell like monomer even before you open the box, or when you open the box you can smell the monomer, but this box had no smell whatsoever. Like it doesn't even smell a hint of nail product, the box itself. So it's good to know that everything is sealed up nice and tight. Speaking of the monomer, here is our acrylic liquid, and this is what we're going to use to activate the acrylic powder. Look how nice and sealed it is. And you get 120 milliliters, which I feel like is a lot for a kit. So yeah. Gel nail polish set. Oh my goodness, an acrylic kit that comes with gel nail polish. Yes. I've never had an acrylic kit come with gel polish, but I'm very excited that it does because I love using gel polish to do some nail art. And since the gel polish isn't going to smell, I think that we'll go ahead and swatch them right now. So for the gel polishes, we also get a nude, a pink, and a white, and I was actually really impressed with how bright the white is. Like it is a 1-coat white. The other 2 bottles were the top coat and the base coat, which are also essential when you're using gel products. And you know what? Everyone is always telling me to do this, and I never do this, but this time I'm gonna do it. I'm going to glue the little swatches that I made onto the top of these bottles. Definitely be careful though if you're gonna do this and use nail glue gel like me to glue it onto the top. Don't stick the whole bottle into your UV LED lamp because you might cure your bottle shut. So don't do that. Just use a smaller lamp or something to just cure it onto the top, or just use regular nail glue. Alrighty, epic! So cute. Alright, and then last but not least, we get Saviland's 6-in-1 nail glue gel. So I believe this can be used for putting on full cover tips, putting on regular tips, rhinestone glue gel, and I'm not... oh, it says on the back. as a nail glue gel, as a foundation gel, as a slip solution, as self-leveling gel, as strengthener gel, or as rhinestone glue gel. I have tried this before actually, and I do really like it, just for things like gluing on tips and such like that. Like gluing on the half cover tip or the regular just like nail tips and stuff. Okay, so that is everything that came in this acrylic kit. I am actually really impressed with how much stuff came in this kit. Like, this is an all-in-one acrylic plus full cover gel tip manicure set. Like, you could do either the Gel X method or acrylic with forms. Like, you could do whatever you want. You could do the Lazy Girl Femi Beauty method. I'm very impressed. And I'm super excited to try it out and do some beautiful nails. So let's go do some nails. Let's go do some nails. Let's go do some nails. I wonder how it'll be. Okay, so I actually drew up a little plan of what I want these nails to look like. So here's a little sneak peek before we get started. So I'm going to be using the full cover tips because I want to do the Femi Beauty method or the Lazy Girl method, where you put the acrylic underneath the full cover tip and then you apply it as if you were like applying a press-on nail. I'll show you. It's like my favorite method to use with acrylic, and it's super easy, and it's going to make it so easy for us to do really cute nail art because I'm going to be using my non-dominant hand today since I'm going to be putting these nails on my dominant hand. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these sized out. These tips are quite short, which is usually not what I would go for personally, but short nails are actually very cute, and I know that a lot of you guys prefer your nails shorter, so I'm looking forward to doing some short nails for once today. So I sized these tips out a little bit bigger than usual because I'm going to be applying the acrylic underneath. Also, these tips did run a little bit small as my pinky is a size 6 in these tips, and usually it's a size like 9 or 10, but the biggest size did fit my thumbnail perfectly. So I'm actually going to start by doing the nail art on the tips before I put them on, kind of like you would do if you were making press-on nails, but I'm going to leave the tips like transparent so that we can see the acrylic from the bottom. So I'm going to be putting charms on the middle nail and the thumbnail. So I don't need to do those yet. I can do that at the end. But for the pointer finger, the ring finger, and the pinky finger, I'm going to be doing some hand-drawn nail art. So I'm just going to start by prepping them by buffing the surface. I'm using the rougher side of my buffer, so I'm using the 100 grit side, and I'm using the buffer just in one direction. That helps make sure that the surface is getting rough and not just getting super smooth. And then I'm just going to take this little brush and I'm going to brush off all of the nail dust. And I'm going to take out the base gel. And I'm going to apply just one nice thin even layer of that. This base gel is very thin, which I actually prefer for a base gel. And I'm going to take out this UV LED lamp. Pop it open. Plug it in. I had to bring an extension cord to my desk so that I could use it because the wire is not very long. And then I'm just going to give that a cure. So now that is all cured. This lamp, when you click the button on the back, it does run for 60 seconds. I'm just going to take a little nail wipe with some isopropyl alcohol on it. You can get that from like any store, Walmart, Target, CVS, whatever. And I'm just going to wipe off that sticky layer that gets left behind once you fully cure the gel so that no dust gets stuck in it. And now that tip is ready for nail art. So now I'm just going to repeat that for the other two tips that I'm going to put nail art on right now. And if you notice that little bit of like cloudiness, that's just because of the isopropyl alcohol, but it should go away once we put gel and like top coat over. So I'm not going to do any like crazy nail art. I just want to put a little white swirl on the pointer and the ring finger. So I'm going to use this white gel polish, and I'm actually just going to use one of these forms as a little palette for my gel. Wow, you get a lot of forms. So I'm just going to take out a bit of the white and put it on here. So I'm going to take out these nail art brushes now. get so many different ones. I know for sure that today I'm going to be using the dotting tool, and I'll use this really fine little white liner brush. So I'm just going to start by kind of cleaning it off a little bit in some isopropyl alcohol. All right, and then I'm just gonna draw a little swirl on this nail, and the acrylic that I'm going to be using underneath these two nails is gonna be a pink shade, so that's what the background color will be. And to clean up my art, just in case I like make a mistake, I'm using one of the smaller brushes and just dipped in a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and kind of like erasing the parts that I don't like. These little swirls turned out so cute, I think. This one is a little bit thicker, but it's okay. It adds to the majesticness. Also, this little brush is so perfect for cleaning up like lines and stuff. All right, now for the pinky nail. I'm gonna take out the pink and I'm gonna use my little dotting tool and I'm just gonna create some polka dots. I feel like polka dots have been popular lately, so I wanna include them in this design. And they're super easy to do, especially with a dotting tool. This pink is so soft and pretty. It reminds me of strawberry milk. Like it looks exactly like Nestle strawberry milk. Okay, now I'm going to take out the top coat and I'm just going to top coat all of the nail art that I just did just to seal it in and make sure that it doesn't get messed up while we're doing the acrylic part or any of the filing and stuff. But I am going to put on another top coat at the very end. And this glossy top coat does have a sticky layer to it even after you've fully cured it. So you do need to wipe it off with some isopropyl alcohol. Alrighty, it's ready to go. So I've got the nail art drawn on all the ones that I want to have hand-drawn nail art on now. So time to get into the acrylics so that we can actually put the nails on. So I'm going to take out all of the acrylic powder, and today I'm actually planning on making some custom acrylics by mixing together some of the supplies that we got in this box. But I will start by just swatching the acrylics just as they came in the box. I am going to put down my dental bib. It's basically just a waterproof little like mat. It'll just keep my tabletop safe. And I went ahead and took the wrapping off of this acrylic liquid bottle, and let me tell you, right when I took that wrapping off, like I got a whiff of monomer. So I'm really glad that it came sealed with the wrapping, and when I'm done with it, I will put it in like an airtight Ziploc bag. And it's even sealed, like that's crazy. So I'm not actually going to take the whole thing off. I'm just going to poke a hole in it and take out my little dapping dish and pour some in. We don't need that much. And I'm actually going to use the smallest brush size that we got because we're not going to be doing any like crazy sculpting or anything like that. And I'm going to start by cleaning it off in some isopropyl alcohol and also get it ready by dipping it in the monomer. This monomer actually doesn't have a super strong smell compared to other ones that I've used, but the smell is like a little bit different. It's like less strong, but yeah, just like different. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it is like a teeny bit purple tinted, which just helps negate any like yellowing of the acrylic. Okay, so let's just start by doing some swatches. Just swatching these, I'm noticing that they set pretty fast, so they become hard pretty quickly, which means you're not gonna have a long time to work with it, but also that's really good in my opinion because it means that it's not going to start like running into your cuticles and stuff. It's just gonna make it like easier to manage, and if it does end up looking lumpy, you can always do some filing. But with this full cover tip method that we're gonna do, that's not gonna be a problem. Okay, so here are the three colors. I really love the pink, how it's like a jelly pink. I wasn't expecting it to be so transparent, but I actually really love it. And this white is really nice and white. The clear is a bit cloudy, but I think it is getting a bit more transparent and clear as it sets for longer. Maybe it's just not set all the way yet. But yeah, that's totally fine because I'm actually going to be mixing in the clear with the white to create a milky white because I personally prefer a milky white rather than like a starch white. I'm also going to be using some of the glitters that we got in the box and mixing them in with these. So yes, I'm excited. Okay, I grabbed out 2 little glass jars so that we can mix together some of these acrylics to create our own custom acrylics because I would like a jelly sparkly pink color and a milky white with glitter in it. Let's start with the milky white with glitter in it. I think that'll be the easiest. So first I'm going to put some clear. I put a lot of clear because the white is super opaque. And I'm gonna put half as much white as I did clear. Okay, then I'm gonna take out these fine glitters. And I think that I'll just stick to the white one. It's just a pretty iridescent white glitter. It has some like purple and bluish reflections to it. It's actually so pretty. Sorry about the sirens if you can hear them. I'm just going to dump the entire little thingy into here because I love glitter. I really don't think that you can tell just how beautiful this glitter is on camera. It's so pretty. Like aquamarine, pink, and blue reflections. So pretty. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put this white little lid on and I'm gonna hold it tight and I'm gonna shake it up to mix it all together. Okay, just looking at it, it looks literally no different, but let's swatch it. Okay, I can already tell that this is much more opaque than I'd like it to be, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add in whatever's left of the clear. Okay, that's honestly still pretty opaque, but oh well, it's fine. I think it's good. Okay, it ended up being a lot more opaque than I originally was intending, but I think it'll still be really cute for this set. This white is definitely just a very good white. It is very opaque. Okay, now for the sparkly pink acrylic. I'm going to dump in all of this pink acrylic. And actually, I'd like it to be a little bit more pink and a little bit more opaque than this. I kind of want it to be like a milky, sparkly pink, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna add in a dash, just a dash, a very small amount because I learned my lesson from the last one, of this white acrylic powder. And then I think I'm going to add in some of this pigment powder as well. So yeah, you could technically mix in this pigment powder with any of the colors to like mix up different colors. I am just curious really quick. I want to be absolutely positive that this isn't an acrylic powder. Oh, wait. Oh my goodness. They are acrylic powders. Okay, so all of these are acrylic powders. I did not realize that at all. That's crazy. I guess these are all acrylic powders, so you have a bunch of different acrylic colors in small quantities to create like nail art or marbling and stuff like that, which is cool, and to mix in with the white, pink, and the clear. So I'm going to stick to my original plan, and I'm just going to mix in some of this pink to the pink that we already have to make it a bit more like saturated. Okay, let's try that. And obviously we've got to go in with some glitter, so I'm going to go in with this iridescent pink one. It has like the same type of reflection as the white one that I just used, except it's pink. And I'm going in with all of it. Also, you got to be careful with these little plastic containers and the containers that the acrylic comes in because they are plastic, and the acrylic liquid, which is monomer, will melt plastic. So yeah, just be careful not to touch your brush when it has acrylic liquid to any of like the plastic stuff. All right, let's give it a mix. Yes, I think this is perfect. This pink is so pretty. This is why, like, when you get a kit or something, you can't limit yourself to the pre-set colors and things. Like, mix things together, throw glitter in, you know, make it your own. It's okay. It's not against the rules. There are no rules, actually. Actually, I mean, just don't get stuff on your skin. That's probably, like, the most important rule, and don't eat it. Okay, so maybe there's a few rules, but, you know... You can mix in glitter and pigments and stuff. Yes, that pink is so pretty. Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed. Look at that. That is beautiful. That's insanely gorgeous. Gorgina. So there's my 2 custom acrylics. We have basically the sparkly white because it was supposed to be a milky white, but it's basically just white. And then I have the sparkly milky pink. Before we can use the new acrylics that I just mixed to put on our tips, I have to rough up my nails. So I have my natural nails here, but they're not actually my natural nails because, as you probably already know, I do keep a hard gel layer over my natural nail just to protect them from the constant filing that I do creating videos. But the steps that I'm about to do are going to be basically the exact same as if this was your natural nail. I'm going to take my buffer. You're going to use the 180 grit side, which is the finer side, and you're going to lightly rough up the surface of your nail until it is no longer shiny. Try to get the area down by your cuticles really well and by your sidewalls as well, because you want to try to file off as much of the dead skin and like cuticle that is on your nail plate as possible. I already prepped my cuticles before I filled in my hard gel layer because I prepped my cuticles right after I removed my previous set. So I don't have a lot of cuticle, but if you do have like skin on your nail plate, you're going to want to try to gently file it off if you can. Okay, and then taking my little scrubby brush, I'm gonna just dust all of the nail dust off. And if you weren't able to file off the dead skin and stuff, or even if you were, I would still take the cuticle pusher and just gently push back your cuticle like so. You basically want to be able to see as much of your nail as possible, and you don't want anything covering it. No skin or anything like that. I even actually have some areas where I still have some cuticle. Guess my cuticle prep wasn't that amazing. Making sure there's no cuticle or skin on your nail plate is a really important step to make sure that your nail product is going to stick, because if you don't do this properly, then your nails will end up popping off in a couple days. But don't worry, it does take practice. Alright, so now I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol and I'm just going to wipe off my nails to make sure they're no longer dusty and there's no dirt or anything like that on them. And now our nails are ready for the acrylic application. This kit didn't come with an acrylic primer, which usually you would put like an acrylic primer on your natural nails before going in with the acrylic. But maybe this one you don't need it. Maybe it's like mixed into the monomer or something a little different like that. So we can just use the monomer to prep our natural nails basically. So yeah, I guess let's start putting the tips on. I'm gonna put the 2 swirly ones on using the pink that I mixed, and I'm gonna do the white for the other ones. So I guess let's just start with the thumb. I'm going to dip my brush in the monomer and then I'm going to wipe off about halfway down the brush. And that's about how much monomer I like continuously keep on my brush. The trick to not gunking up your brushes is to always make sure that they're moist with monomer. I'm not going to rough up the inside of the tip or anything like that. I'm just going to use the monomer to prep it by just kind of like scrubbing it around on the inside. Alright, now the inside of the tip should feel sticky, which is perfect. I'm going to grab out the white. Okay, and I'm going to dip my brush in the monomer again. I'm going to wipe it off about halfway, and then I'm going to dip it at like a 45-degree angle. Don't dip it straight down, dip it at an angle, kind of just like you're patting the top of the powder to pick up an acrylic bead. And then starting from the top, I'm going to start just putting acrylic on the inside of the tip. Making sure not to make it too thick, but also making sure to put acrylic all the way up the sidewalls. I always forget how long my nail bed is, so yeah, we're definitely going to need to put it on my nail now with this next bead. Actually, I'm gonna get one small bead and I'm gonna do a really thin layer over the entire like nail bed area, just to make sure that the entire area is covered with some acrylic powder and has some color. I wanna make sure there's no air bubbles or anything like that when I go to put it on my nail. Super duper thin layer. And now I'm going to dip my brush in, and I'm not going to wipe it off as much. I'm just going to dip it into the acrylic and get a nice big bead. I'm going to stick it on there, and then really quickly, because this stuff sets really quick, I'm going to put it on my nail just as if you were putting on like a press-on nail. You're going to press it down and make sure that it is straight. And then you can use a little Q-tip or a little toothpick to clean up the sides where it's spilled out before it gets too hard. The goal for it is, of course, to not spill out, but you know, it's not the end of the world if it does. Or if you have one of these wooden cuticle pushers, you can kind of scrape off the spillage. And perfect. Now I'm just going to make sure to wait for that to set. And luckily these do set really quick, so that's not a long time. It's pretty much already set. And boom, you have an acrylic nail, just like that. And it'll last just as long as any other acrylic nail. I'm just gonna put on all of the rest of them now using those exact same steps. You do wanna make sure to get the like monomer and the nail products on your skin as little as possible. Try not to get it on your skin at all if you can, but if it gets a little bit, you're not gonna die. It just, you can develop an allergic reaction over time. So that's definitely something that you want to avoid, is getting it on your skin. And some people say that doing this method is more likely to get it on your skin because like you're holding the tip and it can squeeze out while you're putting it on your nail. But honestly, I feel like if you're a beginner and you're going to be building an acrylic nail just on your natural nail, probably going to end up getting it on your skin when you're trying to like work with the beads and they're running all over the place and you're trying to like shape it and get it out of your cuticles and sidewalls and stuff. So I personally think that this method is the easiest method for beginners. I use this method whenever I can because it is the easiest, quickest method ever. It keeps you from having to file a whole bunch, and it keeps you from having super bulky acrylic nails, because I've had some super bulky acrylic nails when I was a really beginner. Definitely not super good at acrylic now, but I'd say I'm getting there. I'm getting a little better, but I still always love to do this method because it's just so quick. You already have the nail shaped out for you with the tip, and then you just get to use whatever acrylic and glitters you like, and you just have a perfectly shaped acrylic nail. I've never used an acrylic kit that came with full cover tips like this before and like all the gel supplies, so this is honestly, I'm super impressed. And this is my favorite acrylic kit that I've tried so far. Truly. Okay, so here's how they're looking with all of the tips on. I definitely need to do a little bit of filing around the sidewalls and cuticle areas. Also, I did end up putting a really small bead of acrylic and just doing like a really thin layer of the white on top of the middle nail one, because I did end up getting like an air bubble in there. I guess I just didn't use enough acrylic when I put it on, and it just like didn't look that great, so I just decided to quickly put a thin layer of acrylic on top as well. So yeah, I'll just make sure to file that one to make sure it's nice and smooth like the other ones. Otherwise, they're looking really great. I love the little swirls and the little polka dots. Let's test out this e-file, shall we? I'm gonna plug it in. So this is the power switch, and then this is the speed control. And for the cuticle areas on most of them, I'm just gonna use the mandrel with like a medium grit sanding band. This one will do. Just pop that on there. And before I start filing, I'm gonna take the wooden file and I'm just gonna take the finer side and I'm gonna file the top of the sanding band right around the edges where it's gonna get really close to my cuticle and sidewalls, because that'll just make it a little bit softer and lessen the chances of me cutting myself. So I definitely recommend that you do that whenever you're using a new sanding band. Much better. So I'm just gonna push that in there. There we go. I'm going to use it on reverse since I'm using my left hand. And the way I understand it is most of the time, whether your left hand is your dominant hand or your non-dominant hand, whenever you're using your left hand, you put the e-file on reverse. Because no matter which hand you're using, you always want the e-file to be moving towards you. So forwards and reverse. But either way, you want it to be moving towards you. So reverse. And I'm just going to carefully go around all of the sidewalls and cuticles, super carefully around the tips with the nail art on it already. I don't want to ding up the nail art. If I do accidentally ding up the nail art, it's not a big deal. I'll just go back in and fix it a little bit with the gel polish again. But I'm just going to be careful anyway, and since we did already put the top coat, it shouldn't be a problem. And you don't need to do this on a very high speed. I would use it at the speed that is just high enough so that your e-file isn't stopping. I did a pretty good job filing everything without filing into the nail art, except on the pinky. I did file into the polka dots a little bit down here, but I will go in there and fix that in a second. First, I'm just going to take my wooden file and I'm going to use it on the 180 side, which is the finer side. And I'm just going to file the sidewalls and the free edge a little bit to make sure that everything looks nice and sharp and straight. I went ahead and touched up the two spirals a little bit, just make them a little bit thicker and add like a second layer. And other than them being not centered in the nail, I think they're really cute. It does kind of bother me that they're not centered, but it's fine. Also, I'm realizing that I thought these were short at first, and they are super short for me, but I think for most people these would probably be like a medium length. But for me, it's definitely pretty short. The last thing that I want to do is put on a couple charms. So I picked out some charms and I have them in this little tray. And obviously we are going for like a pink and white Hello Kitty theme. And I'm going to try to use the 6-in-1 nail glue gel to put them on. It is a pretty thin gel. I don't think it's really meant for super big charms. I think probably more so just for like the rhinestones and pearls that came in the box. But I will give it a try. I am not going to be wearing these nails for too long. I need to do my nails for my graduation ceremony like next week anyway, so I'm just gonna put a layer of the 6-in-1 gel over the entire nail. Maybe I'll add like a little extra drop in the middle where I'm gonna put the charm, and then I'm just gonna use the tweezers to put the charms on. And I'm going to cure it really fast so that it doesn't slip and slide everywhere. And after I've cured it on, I'm actually going to take a little bit more of this 6-in-1 stuff and kind of just like glob it on around the charm, just to try to get the hold to be as strong as possible. And this will also help it not to get snagged on a bunch of stuff. Alright, so I ended up putting the little hearts that I wanted to put on the middle finger and the thumbnail on the pointer and ring finger, since there was like this space at the end that was really bothering me and the hearts didn't fit on these nails that well anyway, so I was just like, maybe they'll look cute there, and honestly I don't know if I like it or I hate it, but they're there and we're going with it. So the only thing left to do is put the top coat on, and then this set will be completely done. I'm actually so happy with how these nails turned out. I think they're so adorable, and I wish I did short nails more often because I feel like they're actually very demure, you know? They're just very cute. But I feel like long nails is an addiction. Like once you have extra long nails and can live with them, it's like you want to always have long nails. At least for me, it's like doing short nails, it doesn't feel right, but they're cute and I like them. So yeah. And here are the finished nails, all top coated. They are so beautiful, so glossy. And you know what, guys? I said that this was a wipe top coat, but it turns out that it just was not fully curing in this little lamp for 60 seconds. I think maybe, I don't know if it's just like not enough wattage to really fully cure gel, or maybe that top coat just needed longer. If this little lamp is the only lamp that you have, I would recommend curing the gel on your natural nails and the top coat for at least 90 seconds, so a minute and a half, or 2 minutes, which would be 120 seconds, because you really want to make sure you don't leave uncured gel on your natural nails, because that can lead to contact dermatitis and other allergies and stuff. But yeah, once it is fully cured, it is completely non-wipe, not sticky at all, and so insanely glossy. These are so pretty, and I loved the top coat and the 6-in-1 gel because it did not run into my cuticles. I was like globbing it on around the charms and stuff, and it was not running into my cuticles. And now that I've put the top coat on and everything, these charms feel so secure. Like, I do not think that they will be going anywhere. I will show you guys what they look like in some natural sunlight. They always look so pretty outside in natural sunlight. But yeah, once again, thank you to Saviland for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate the support. If you're interested in any of the products I used in this video, they will be linked down in the description box below this video. But yeah, that is the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up before you go. It helps me out so much, and I really appreciate it. I hope that you all are having the most amazing day, night, week, life. Sleep well if you're going to sleep, cuties. I will hopefully see you in my next one. Bye! Mwah.